They say the grass is greener where you water it. For me, that means being loyal, putting in the work, and being part of a community that raised me. Fairway, your home court advantage.
Keen Project Solutions, a modern engineering and construction firm, embracing technology, establishing industry-leading systems and processes, and delivering reliable results to our customers. At Keen, we are passionate about inspiring our team and our customers to achieve great things, offering the highest quality services in commercial construction to deliver turnkey projects. Our core beliefs drive us forward. Protect people, build relationships, drive innovation, and focus on end goals, bringing our customers' desired results to life. See how Keen can work for you at ThinkDifferent.ThinkKeen.com.
10% of all the new cars sold in Iowa come from the Carl Auto Group. Our neighbors trust us to have the largest selection and the highest standards. To our current customers, thank you. And to our future customers, see for yourself why Carl drives Iowa.
Your dealer for life, it's the Carl way.
Let's go. Everyone can take a little bit of a deep breath. Thank you for joining us on the Cyclone Fanatic postgame show. I'm Lea Nelson. I'm with Jake Brend in the Northwest Bank Studios. Iowa State comes out on top. Thank goodness. I'm feeling good. We've got lots to talk about. I want to thank a couple of our sponsors before we get started. As always, Channel Seed. They are our presenting sponsor for the pregame, halftime, and postgame show. So thank you, Channel Seed. I also want to shout out Fairway Meat and Grocery. I hope you guys all got to Fairway before the game, had a good little tailgate. Jake, did you?
I of course made it to Fairway.
That's what I'm talking about.
Purchased this beer that I'm drinking.
I
got it at Fairway last night.
I had smoked picanha for lunch today.
Ooh,
oh, fancy. That's what I'm talking about. So shout out Fairway. And then I also want to shout out Keen Project Solutions. If you are looking for a career that challenges and inspires you, Keen Project Solutions is growing and hiring engineers and project managers for the Ankeny and Kansas City offices. Make sure you join a team that values your dedication, fuels your career growth, and turns your expertise into impactful solutions. Visit ThinkDifferent.ThinkKeen.com today to apply. Jake.
Oh, man.
That was the biggest roller coaster I've ever been on. I was feeling down. I was feeling up. I was feeling excited. I was feeling like Iowa State won before they really won. It was going back and forth. I know you came in hype and then realized there was 1 second left on the game. But how are you feeling? What are your thoughts just right after this Cyclone win?
So, Lea, this is our fourth show together.
Yes.
I'm not going to say that I dreaded doing the show the first time or the first 3 times with you, but this time it's actually exciting.
I said the same thing.
We can have fun.
I know.
The first 3 shows, halftime against Colorado. How are they losing to Colorado?
Right.
How did they lose to Colorado? And then halftime today was a little more positive. We ended it on a good note. And then the Cyclones, I think, just pull off the most Matt Campbell win.
Yeah.
That you can draw up. You're down so many starters on defense. The defense and John Haycock play out of its mind. Trey Bell has the game of his life. Not only does he have the interception to open the game, he punches the ball out as TCU was driving, and that looked like it was going to be the game.
It really did.
And Bell, it's a credit to him because what's been the story of the last 4 weeks? Yes, it's been some struggles from the offense, and a lot of people, me included, have pointed that on Rocco Becht, but it wasn't just Rocco. There were guys all over that were not playing great football, and Trey Bell is certainly one of them that had a few rough moments, and I think that's the ultimate story of this game, is players that have struggled, overcoming that struggle and being the reason that Iowa State wins a game that pretty much nobody picked them to win. Jeff Woody did it on our Cyclone Fanatic picks. I don't think I really saw anybody else do it, and that's Matt Campbell right there.
I knew I liked Jeff. I did a couple shows with him last year, and he was always a good guy, so shout out Jeff. What do you think like Matt Campbell, the other coaches were saying at halftime, because, they came out, it wasn't like came out guns a-blazing, but they got it done. What do you think kind of was the mindset going into the second half?
I think it just has to be keep doing the process the way you're doing the process. I know it's cliche. I hear it for 45 minutes each week when I'm up in Ames for the press conferences, but not to beat a dead horse, the problem with Iowa State these last 4 weeks hadn't been a skill thing. It hadn't been a talent thing. It hadn't really, in my eyes, been a total play calling thing either. It was an execution, and it was not being ready for the moment. And today, Iowa State was ready for the moment. Rocco Becht, we were on here at halftime. I didn't outright say Rocco has to be benched. There's a lot of people that are saying that, and I certainly think you had to consider it. Mm-hmm. Like, at the very least, you had to consider it. Rocco throws a bad pick. He throws it too high for a 6'7" tight end, which is a little hard to do. You get some bad luck. Does Rocco make a mistake after that? I don't think so. That third down play after the Trey Bell fumble, that throw to Eli Green was the Rocco Becht that we've grown to know. It's the Rocco Becht that, all right, number 3, we're going to give you the ball. Either go win the game, go ice the game, just go do it. We trust you. That was a rocket. And to me, it seemed like Rocco turned a bit of a page in that fourth quarter. It's hard to know because, how about Aiden Flora? You get the lead via a punt return from Aiden Flora. So we still didn't see what it was like. Hey, Rocco, we're down, go and win the game. But who knows? Maybe that play by Flora, where Rocco wasn't even on the field, maybe that was enough to flip Rocco's confidence a little bit, because him, Carson Hansen, the offensive line, those guys iced the game when they had the chance to.
It was pretty incredible. I want to thank a couple more of our sponsors before we continue, but Central States Roofing, they are a locally owned business for many, many years. They have commercial projects with offices in Des Moines, Ames, and Fort Dodge. So make sure you visit csroofing.com to learn more. And then also shout out the Natuzel Burros. I know Chris is a huge fan of them, and they are incredible. So make sure you check them out for all of their financial services and your financial needs. But Jake, I feel like this win happened at a really good time.
Yes.
They're going into a bye week. What does Iowa State focus these next couple of weeks, days?
Yeah, it comes down to, you have everything to play for. And I think, win or lose, coming into today, you have the element of, oh gosh, how many guys in the secondary are you missing? How poor has the offense been playing? You're coming into a team that's pretty healthy. Is there a world where the team gets down and maybe quits a little bit? Or not quit. You're a Division I athlete. You know that nobody's out there and quit. But There is a different level of, do you go from 105 intensity to 95 intensity?
Yep.
And I'm not saying I thought that was going to happen, but it's certainly a thought when a team's on a 4-game losing streak. I thought it was the total opposite today. Iowa State played so inspired when they had nothing to play for. They didn't have a college football playoff spot to play for. They didn't have a Big 12 title spot to play for. They just had themselves to play for, and the fans and the coaching staff. And I don't think that can be displayed any better than Ben Bramer being in the hospital last week, coming out, making a big play. Not even making a big play, just being out there is enough. And so many efforts, so many individual efforts, I think, show just how special this team still is in the hard times, in the bad times, because they went out there and they certainly didn't play a clean football game. They didn't play a great football game, but they played a football game where they were together, and they get to head into a bye week feeling good with 2 really, really winnable games down the stretch to get to 8-4, which, again, Matt Campbell's better than 8-4. Me or you aren't going to be too excited about 8-4, but 8-4 is still a pretty good record if you can get there. And Iowa State left that door open today with a win in the fourth quarter.
You described it really well. I think that game made everyone feel inspired. And I think that's why it's so easy to root for Iowa State, because no matter what's happening, although it might look different, like they're giving it their all. They could have easily gone out there and just kind of rolled over when things weren't going their way, but they did the exact opposite. And I think that's why people just love Iowa State, are able to cheer for them. I want to hear your thoughts about the uniforms really quick. I'm a big uniform person. I love the yellow pants.
I'm 50-50. This look is awesome. Do not throw the yellow pants with the Cardinal uniform. That's my rule. Like,
really?
I think the red, white, gold is a really, really solid
Looks very
look.
clean.
I don't know if it's too much PTSD to the Paul Rhodes era, or if it's the PTSD to my alma mater, Simpson College, that didn't win a lot of football games when I was there. They wear red, gold, so I'm cool with these once or twice a year. I'd even be cool maybe with a gold helmet, white uniform, gold pants. Just no all gold, please. No Ronald McDonald, please.
See, I root for the craziest uniforms ever. I was in charge of our uniforms my senior year for softball, and I think I was people didn't like it.
Kyle Adema in the chat is saying more yellow. Kyle,
yellow.
be careful what you wish for. Just be glad that I'm saying I'm okay with gold pants, because yeah, but the way Matt Campbell is superstitious, he clearly likes the uniform enough to go wear them. He's not going to wear something he doesn't like. They might wear this on every road game until they lose, the way that Campbell operates. They might wear it next week. So either way, Iowa State gets a win in those kind of throwback. Yeah. I don't know if throwback's the right word. For you and me, we're younger. It feels like a throwback, but it's not like to the 80s or anything.
I'm just feeling really good that we're able to get on a post-game show together and talk uniforms and not feel sad.
That could go either way. You know what's really cool uniforms? The Oregon Ducks. Sorry, that'll be the only talk that we have for this one.
I know people were asking in the chat.
If you're split screening Instant Iowa and Cyclone Fanatic postgame,
just look at us.
Thank you for being here. This you mentioned the timing of this win. When you go into a bye week, yes, the specific season timing of the win was incredible, but the down to the minute timing,
literally,
I don't know if it could have been any better. I'll leave it at that.
It was pretty good. I wanna chat to or talk to you about what you said a little bit earlier about an 8-4 season, because to you and I, again, you mentioned we were younger, seems like a little bit of a disappointment, but I'm seeing people in the chat who are like, guys, we can't forget where Iowa State came from. And I think that's also kind of a good point as well.
Yeah, I did a little monologue on Monday, and I talked about a lot of topics, but the main thing I wanted to hit on was how Matt Campbell raising the standard is a double-edged sword, because you don't want to forget about wins like this. Nobody with the straight face is going to tell you that they're super excited about how the season turns out, even if they win the next two and go win a bowl game. That'd be a 9-4 win season. Mm-hmm. And I still think people would rightfully be a little bit disappointed.
It's true.
And you also have to keep the perspective of, there are a lot of years where even having the possibility of a bowl game in November was a win. But that's the double-edged sword of Matt Campbell raising the standard. When you make two Big 12 championships in the span of 4 years, and when you become easily the greatest coach in school history and put all these guys in the NFL, 4-game losing streaks in October aren't going to cut it. And it is a double-edged sword. I think you have to be thrilled with wins like this, because if you win a game like this and the only response is, well, should have won by more. Oh, imagine this win if you didn't lose to Colorado and didn't lose to Arizona State. You can't watch sports that way. You still have to be thrilled when wins like this happen, because these are the types of wins that Campbell's built his program on. It's the back against the wall. It's Cyclones against the world, and that's what they did on Saturday. It's pretty cool.
If you had to award someone from Iowa State MVP, who would it be?
Oh, man. There's a lot of candidates. At halftime, I gave Cooper Ebel my MVP. He's certainly a top 5 candidate. Trey Bell, 2 takeaways, a couple passes defended. He even somehow managed to get a pass interference by having his face mask grabbed.
Yes.
So he's the first player in football history to pull that one off. Carson Hansen, he just cements himself as the guy who should be the only person to touch the ball inside the 5-yard line, and we can talk about negatives in a bit, but I got to go Aiden Flora. Aiden Flora, I'm a little biased. I've covered this guy since he was at ADM. He's a really, really great kid, and I didn't just cover him in football. I covered him at track, and I knew he had those burners, and he showed that early in the year, not only in those 2 punt returns against South Dakota, he's shown it as a gunner. To have his moment in a play when they needed him most, when they just needed anything. I don't care if the play was made on James Neal having an end around. You needed somebody to go out there and flip the momentum of the game and put the ball in the end zone. And it's Aiden Flora, the pride of ADM, a walk-on. He better be walking into the locker room on Monday morning with a scholarship because he has been vital to this football team's success. And they won the game because of Aiden Flora. And as a lifelong Iowan who grew up a Hawkeye fan, it's I'm sure pretty cool for him to now be on the other side of it and go win a game for his hometown team.
Absolutely love it. And you mentioned negatives. I think we need to talk about, it wasn't a pretty game. What does Iowa State need to do to change, those negativity?
So the obvious negative was Rocco, the first 3 quarters, and the drops. There was the Brown drop in the first quarter. Sewell had a bad drop. Granted, he got it back the very next play. I think the thing with Rocco, though, we're not going to see for a couple weeks if it's fixable. Because in my eyes, it's been like 70% confidence, the yips, if you will.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe just winning a game and doing what he did, making that throw to Eli Green and that wicked naked bootleg, which is one of the best plays that Taylor Mauser's had in his 2 years of offensive coordinator, to be able to sell that fake the way he did, go pick up the first down and not completely ice the game, but pretty much ice the game. Maybe that's enough for Rocco to turn it around. And again, we won't see it until the first quarter. But when you look at that, I don't really see anything on the defense that's correctable. I'm sure John Haycock and his position coaches will have stuff in film tomorrow, but from the naked eye to us on TV, like the defense is playing their absolute tails off. And you cannot ask for anything more than go and give 110% effort like you did today. And then I do just think it's Rocco. If you can get Rocco back to Rocco, this team is way more than capable of winning 3 games in a row and closing the season strong, building momentum into next year. But we'll have to see until November 22nd is when we'll probably find out.
The thing with, you mentioned yips, if it's the yips, everyone who experiences those, it's different on how they can kind of fix them. I mean, it was a big thing in softball.
Oh, yeah.
And there were a couple girls that I played with who experienced them, and it's just a total mindset shift. And I feel for him if that's what it is. But yeah, the thing is, we do not know what he needs. And it could be as simple as sitting out a couple snaps or, having a couple plays like he did tonight that were successful. So I guess we will have to see.
Well, and like you mentioned in softball, sometimes it might just take, you hit one off the end of the bat, you get an infield single, a swinging bunt, and you're on, and you're like, oh, I'm fixed. Or for me, in tennis, it was just like, sometimes all it takes was you hit the top of the net and it spins over and you get lucky and you're like, oh, okay, I can take a deep breath. And I'm not inside Rocco's head. Rocco is an absolute gamer. And we all know that the majority of the reason that he was pressing a little bit is because he wants to do it for the guys to his left and right so bad. And today he was a part of a win. And I hope that helps his confidence going forward, because there's not a person in this fan base, there's not a person watching this show that doesn't want Rocco to succeed, because he is our guy.
Right.
Like, there's no one that anybody wants leading this program more than we want Rocco Beck doing it. We just want Rocco to be at his best. So I hear that we've got a drunken Chris Williams sending a video. Neither of us has seen this, so we're just going to see his thoughts from Fort Worth.
Out of TCU Stadium. Honest, I think this is as surprised as I've been with an Iowa State football outcome probably since 2017 at Oklahoma. And I would also compare it to 2009 Nebraska. What's interesting is Iowa State was only a 7-point underdog today. Iowa State has good football players. We knew that. They have a really great coaching staff. We knew that. But they hadn't been able to put it together. They didn't put it together today. But this was one of those vintage Matt Campbell culture specials where they put everything, like, backs against the wall, nothing going your way, can't move the ball on offense consistently, and they figured it the hell out. Like, I'm not like leaving this stadium today being, oh man, Cyclones. No, this is a culture win, and this is why Matt Campbell is one of the most sought after coaches in the country. When your back's against the wall, you can do stuff like this. Simple as that. That's a good football team they beat today. So much credit goes to John Haycock and Iowa State's defense. Defensive line, one of the best performances we've seen all season. Linebackers were insane. Secondary's coming together with all those guys out. Those dudes played the game of their life. Awesome. Enjoy the win.
Thank you, C-Dub. It's great to see C-Dub have the... I don't know when you met Chris for the first time, Leah, but when I met Chris like 5 years ago when I was an intern at Channel 13, I don't think I would have ever seen him wearing a polo with no buttons. The guy's jacked. He's jacked up about his Cyclones. I'm sure he had a blast in the stands, and he makes a great point. Like, to give Chris credit, his advice to me is just like, read over your tweets 20 times before you tweet them. And I know at one point I had it written out. Iowa State's only down 4, but I feel like they have no shot at winning this game. And I don't remember if I hit send or not, but that's what he said. When you compare this to 2017 OU or 2009 Nebraska, those are the games where you're like, well, just doesn't feel like they have any chance under the sun to win this game. And that's how I felt in the second half. And backs against the wall, Matt Campbell, Rocco Beck, Taylor Mauser, John Haycock, everyone in between finds a way to go do it. And that's pretty cool. And they should feel really good tonight and feel really good flying back home. Even if it wasn't the prettiest football game, you got one in the win column.
I love it. I feel good going into the bye week. Also, that video could have easily been like 30 minutes long because once Chris gets going, he gets going. So I'm glad it was short and sweet. But
someone in the comment called it the Williams wobble.
That's when you started laughing, and then I started laughing. It's good. It's good. Williams wobble. I love it. I'm glad he's able to enjoy the game. Jake, I'm glad that we actually had a post-game show that was exciting. We can smile and laugh.
Yeah,
and
we should do this more often.
Yes, that's what I was thinking too. But thank you, Jake. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you to all the fans for joining us in the Northwest Bank Studios. Please enjoy the bye week. And also shout out to Aiden for producing. You rock.